the MCU, the 28th title, the first animated series to come out of the MCU. And we're on episode 4 of the show, What If? Can we talk about it? This thing is, here's the premise, right? Watcher opens up and tells you there are all these new realities, and I'm going to tell you about them. Different versions of your heroes being other people. Basically, one thing changes within the universe that you know is the MCU. Things have played out. Peggy Carter was first. T'Challa as Star-Lord was next. And then the third one was, what if all the Avengers got murdered? This one is titled, What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart instead of his hands?
There he is.
I told you I was going to do like I'm writing in game right now. Here's the description from Disney Plus. What If flips the script on the MCU by reimagining events from the films in unexpected ways. I will say this description is way different than the other descriptions. It's like this one's like pretty vague.
Very vague.
Doesn't even talk about like Doctor Strange. It's just like this show's about this. The other descriptions are very specific to like, imagine if T'Challa got taken instead.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I was like, did they just? I feel like they forgot, and it was the last day, and they're like, just put something out. 37 minutes. I think this was the longest one.
Yeah, I was fine with that too.
Oh yeah, longer the better. Even though kind of a slow start. Basically seeing Doctor Strange again.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one's all about Doctor Strange, man. Spoiler alert for the episode. Can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. We'll do some gut checks here in a minute, but the premise here is Doctor Strange in the original movie, I think that was 2016, he loses his hands in a car accident. To do anything to get him back, he goes to another country. I forget the country he goes to, but it's where the Ancient One lives, and he learns about the mystic arts, and becomes the most powerful sorcerer, really, after the Ancient One passes away. And this is his journey to become Doctor Strange. In this one, the premise is pretty simple. Instead of losing his hands in this accident, he's actually driving with, I forget her name, Rachel McAdams, and her name is Denise? Is it with a D?
Christine.
Close.
So if you remember the movie, Rachel, this is Rachel McAdams, by the way. This is Benedict Cumberbatch. We also got the same guy that plays Wu in this one.
Everybody for this one. Even Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton shows up as the Ancient One. And basically, he loses her in the car accident, and it's what happens. Andy, what'd you think of this one?
I saw a lot. I was scared about like people were tweeting before I watched it about how like dark it is and things like that. I was like, whoa, that's different. But I still enjoyed it. Not as much as the last couple, but I am excited because of, not to spoil or anything or whatever, but what we're thinking about how this might affect the future of this series, basically.
Yes, I'm definitely thinking about it after this one, because this one's starting to give more hints about like more connections, maybe like more foreshadowing.
Kind of thought that was coming because how things have played out, but now I feel more confident about that.
Okay,
and it sounds like you guys agree.
I can't wait to dive into it. PC Mike, you just watched this today. I think you were babysitting, but you didn't. The kids didn't see this.
No, the kids did not see the murder after murder.
Yeah, well, go ahead. We gave that spoiler alert. Yeah, just the death, the slow, slimy deaths.
Yeah, over and over and over, no matter what.
No matter what.
In wild ways, like eating at a diner. And then boom.
Like even if he doesn't go get her, building explodes.
I thought it was okay. I'm interested to hear your guys' take on how this is going to kind of propel things going forward. But overall, the episode, I thought it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all I have. I mean,
That's
I
fine.
don't really have that much for it. It was interesting to see how loss can drive somebody. And like kind of like character, like good and evil, thinking about it, how to do different things, and that was kind of interesting. But it's you two are more in tap with the MCU than me.
Yeah,
so I'm excited how you guys are gonna spin this, and like how the future episodes you think will be affected by this episode.
I can't wait to talk about it because I definitely have some thoughts about some patterns I'm picking up on as the show goes on. So let's just get into this one and just break down. We'll tell the whole story and kind of recap it as we go. These are nice, short, and sweet episodes. If you haven't got into this yet, they're animated. They're typically 25 to 30 minutes in terms of like the story. Of course, with the Marvel stuff on Disney, you're always going to have 7 to 10 minutes of credits, just depending on the stuff. And this one, this is Doctor Strange, man. He picks up Christine, and they wreck. She dies in that crazy cliff accident that you'll remember very vividly from the movie. They almost, kind of do a play-by-play of exactly how it happens. Him, like, going around that truck and then going down the cliff and then landing in the water. Like, that's exactly how it goes down. She dies. He basically does the same thing. He still goes on this mystical journey to become Doctor Strange, which, first of all, I was like, why? I was like, in the first one, it was because of his hands and he wanted to fix them. This one, I guess he's like, I'm going to learn how to talk to the dead, resurrect the dead, time travel, I guess.
Destiny.
I mean,
I don't know.
Destiny.
That's
just Andy. Destiny.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, that's kind of how they played it off. I thought it was a little weak, to be honest. I was like, he still went to the ancient one just because she died. Like, he worked as a doctor. He lived in, like, he still ended up in that same country. All right, that's the show. There he does become Doctor Strange, and basically it comes down to one moment in the, what do they call the place where he lives? The Sancta Sanctorium.
Yep. Sanctum Sanctorum.
Sanctum Sanctorum. And he's there with Wu, and it's been like a couple years now. It's been 2 years since she died, since he's been Doctor Strange, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the Eye of Agamotto on his thing, and he's like thinking about it, right? He's like, I got a time machine on my necklace. I'll just go back and save her. And Wu's like, you better not do anything stupid. And he like walks off, and basically Doctor Strange, very out of character, does do something stupid. He basically starts looking for these forbidden books at another, this is like Easter eggy stuff too, where I'm like, I don't know anything about what we're looking at here. Another library somewhere. Did you pick up on like what this library was he went to?
No.
The cave he drops. Before he does that, the Ancient One visits him and says, don't do this. Because first he tries to bring her back over and over and over himself. I'm missing a big part. He tries to bring her back over and over himself. This is what Mike was talking about with the
20 times.
The time stone over and over, no matter what he does.
It might have been half the episode.
It was a lot. Like, I mean, in that one where like someone walks into the diner and just shoots her, and I was like, why didn't you just stop him?
Yeah, like
he didn't have. Well, he did. He did have powers then. You're right. Car crash happens over and over. Even when he leaves her by herself, the building explodes. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just.
I think
it's crazy.
The Ancient One tells Strange that Palmer's death is an absolute point in the timeline.
This is important. It's an absolute point.
Yeah.
Can't change it. But also, like, the rules of time travel that we learn in Endgame are like, it doesn't matter if you change it. It doesn't change your existing reality. But you could argue that he was just trying to go back, save her once, and then just live with her. Like, wasn't he
kind of pull a Captain America and go back and live his life?
Yes, yes, exactly. But the rules that have been explained to us about time travel are like, he'd be in another reality. Everything that happened in this was essentially like happening in one reality, except we find out. All right, let's just, before we get to that. So he's like, okay, I can't bring her back. He's like, there's only one way to do it, and you need more power. And the Agent's One's like, don't go looking for more power. And he teleports himself to this other library, like in the mountains. There's another guy there, like watching these forbidden or like the hidden books or something like that.
There's definitely some. I didn't look it up, but the guy, what was his name? Oh.
The other Doctor Strange?
No, the guy that he goes and the guy that's basically keeping guard of the books.
But I think that's the guy, because he was like,
doesn't say.
He says that he's just the Guardian, but I was like, that guy's lying.
You think he's something else? And he also just let Doctor Strange do whatever he wanted, which was, what's he do? He takes all the books, he finds the ones about time travel, and he learns, I can absorb energy and power from other beings. So what's he do? He starts bringing them.
Swallows them.
He starts bringing them into the chamber. Who was the first one? He tries. The tentacled octopus thing from the very first episode with Peggy Carter.
That blew my mind.
It was like, that's the same one. That's the same exact animal, obviously.
The Hydra.
The Hydra. Yes, the Hydra. And he tries to suck it in, and it's like, it's not having it. Well, then he learns, okay, I'll start smaller. I mean, how many different creatures does he just start taking in?
It had to be like 15. And I was like, what are these things?
Well, even more than that, because
not smart enough to know.
He was there for how long? Remember, he goes and sees the keeper of the books after he's been doing this over and over and over. This is also the first time we get the Watcher kind of talking over Doctor Strange, like, Doctor Strange went down this path. If he does this, he could ruin his reality. I could jump in right now, but I'm not supposed to. And Doctor Strange is like, huh?
I love it.
And like
The cartoon effect.
oh, what? He's like, who's there? And then it's gone. It's like, okay, that was weird. I was like, okay. And if you remember from episode 3 in the Avengers, the Watcher was kind of like hanging out in New Mexico, like in the back of the sky, just kind of watching. I just feel like he's getting a little more present as we go. We'll talk about it.
I agree.
We'll talk about it. So he's there for like a long time. Like, I want to say centuries. The guy's dying. The keeper of the books is dying. He tells Doctor Strange at the end, he's like, all right, I'm dead. Doctor Strange is like, okay, I'm gonna go try to bring her back. And then this is where they part ways, and we find out Doctor Strange, there's 2 of them. Can't do what they're saying. 2 of them. And basically, one of the timelines split off. So there's a second Doctor Strange that went down this kind of evil path. Whenever
Strange Supreme.
The Strange Supreme
Is what they call him on this.
And Doctor Strange, and that from before, was like, you know, holding the Infinity Stone, and was like, don't do anything stupid. Well, that one didn't do anything stupid. But I'm like, we're in the same reality? I guess it was because of his time travel antics. Like, what happened? Like, why were there 2?
I'm done trying to figure things out. I just want somebody to tell me what's happening.
I mean, I'm looking at you, too. Did you put it together?
No.
Okay. I mean, it seemed like something happened to where they got split.
It's like a new time travel rule that was literally just made in front of our faces. So
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
But it could be for a reason. Maybe this will be a topic that's brought up in his movie, Spider-Man. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you think about that, that's December is No Way Home, and then like March is Doctor Strange multiverse movie.
Hell
So
yeah. Oh, no.
that is going to be a wacky 4 months.
No, and honestly, I'm going to speed through this story because I'm more excited to talk about that stuff and like where I think this is going to connect. So what happens? The Doctor Stranges face off. They fight. The bad Doctor Strange wins, and he sucks in the good Doctor Strange, and he does it. He brings back to life Christine, and at what cost? Basically, an infinity. Everything gets, I was going to say, it's kind of like the blip all over again, except it's just the whole reality is just melting away like in black goop. And she comes to, and he's like a bat and a lizard, and he's all these different cosmic beings, which that was crazy seeing all those different things come across. I was like, from the Marvel universe. I just want to like flip through the encyclopedia and see if I can spot any. And she's seeing all of it, and he's like, Christine, it's me. It's me. And she's like, what did you do? And dies in his arms, and he's the Watcher does show up before she dies, and he's like, do something, and the Watcher's like, I can't, you did this. And then he disappears, and then she dies. The reality comes down to like one singular like hexagon like little room, and he's the only one left. Credits. What'd you think of that?
I think we're definitely going to see him again.
Yeah, all of these endings are like that, right? They're always leaving somebody to do something. They're all cliffhangers. Like Peggy Carter, she's still around. Then you got T'Challa Star-Lord doing his thing. Of the Avengers, Nick Fury met up with Captain Marvel and dug out Steve Rogers. Now we got this solo Doctor Strange bad guy.
Maybe we'll see a new Avengers team up, like one of the later episodes.
Or like the anti-Avengers. Is that a thing?
Maybe.
The Dark Avengers. Isn't that what they call them?
Yeah.
Because he's like, this is like the Dark Doctor Strange. But, I mean, yeah, it was okay. After talking about it, I'm like, I definitely didn't like it as much as episode 3. The Avengers one was way better. But it was still cool, cosmic, interdimensional, and introducing a lot of new things about time travel. All right, here's a few things I'm thinking about. First of all, I caught it during the intro when the Watcher says, these new realities, blah, 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 blah. These new realities. That's what stuck in my head. And this watch order was confirmed. You watched this after Loki. And it came out a comic book, I think. Maybe Kevin Feige. Somebody spoke on this, that you should watch What If after Loki. Well, spoiler alert for Loki season 1. The multiverse explodes and goes into all the different timelines. So I'm like, are we seeing?
Are we seeing all those little different timelines?
I'm pretty sure we are. I'm pretty sure that's what's
happening. That was
happening.
no accident. That's
right. And like maybe this is something people have known since episode 1, but I'm like, for me, I'm just thinking about like there's almost a little bit of direct storytelling happening to where you look at Loki, you look at this, and you're like, oh, this is what happened.
And I mean, they've gone back with those other shows and like the moment where it happened, like every show before Loki had a moment where it's like, boom.
Yeah.
Things change.
Yep. Sometimes it's like you're late for work. Sometimes it's just a decision about this. Remember, they explained all that. And then I feel like the Watcher, again, becoming more involved with the storytelling. Now he's talking directly to the characters for the first time. It just makes me go down that rabbit hole of like, this is leading somewhere. Like this is, I don't know what it is. I mean, I talked about like it all going live action. Andy's told us before that writers have spoke about the show saying like you could see live action versions of all this. And I'm like, well, that's where I see it going. It's like the Watcher becomes real. It's like we're no longer in animation and these realities are going to start like bumping into each other. And that'll be like, multiverse of madness.
Yeah. The Watcher, not even the Watcher is perfect. He's going to intervene somehow and
at some
probably
point.
F everything up.
Is there somebody above the Watcher? Like, this is just me asking a question.
I think there are things above the Watcher. He even says, I'm not a god.
Yeah.
Is he like over like your shirt, the TVA, to keep a timeline safe? Like he can't do anything.
He's not supposed to. But I mean, according to the history of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid, I think the Watchers like do intervene at a certain point, and they start trying to get involved.
I'm remembering that too, but it'd be too hard to like go through it right now to find it.
Oh, we're not going to do that. And plus, it'd be totally different, right? It'd be different in this version than what it was in that.
Yeah.
But I think that it's going to be something. Like this is going to be some kind of, even if it's just season 2 and they're picking these stories up where they left off, it could be that simple.
True.
All right. It was okay. I think we've rated all these. I'll go and throw out my rating and then let you guys go around. I'm going to give this one I'm going to give it a 2.8.
2.9.
2.7.
All right.
I was around 2.8.
It's pretty good. Any final thoughts before we wrap this one up? We got episode 5 coming next week. We'll be talking about it. This one's all about Doctor Strange. It's a dark version, and I think we might see him again one day.
About halfway home. I think there's 9 total.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder if they'll all converge somehow.
Right. Is it that? Is it just as simple as that?
Gotta be. Like, what if it's like an Endgame level? Like what if Endgame, like something happened differently? Is like the last episode. That'd be insane.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Even though
I
we've
think
already seen Thanos with the it's random.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, that wouldn't happen.
Or
or something on that level. I mean,
I was thinking that there might be some like foreshadowing here to like what's going on in Spider-Man No Way Home, because you got this Doctor Strange acting all goofy and weird, doesn't really make sense. I'm of course talking about the brand new trailer.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this show is telling us that it's incredibly possible
There's a different Doctor Strange.
that there's a different Doctor Strange.
And this came out after the trailer.
Yep.
Probably. It is so weird. Like,
and it did come out right like same time.
And everyone keeps talking shit about Doctor Strange being Mephisto in that trailer. And I'm like, then they just show him being a devil for like a second in this. I was like, stop it. Stop.
Yep.
Yeah, Chris Kelly did that. He's like, you guys are going to have a heyday with this one comic book. It's just him as the devil. Like, I commented, I said, Doctor Strange is Ralph Boner, confirmed. Not quite Mephisto, but either way, we'll keep talking about it. Where's it all headed? Like Andy said, we're about halfway through. What If? Disney Plus, MCU, Animation Town. You can find it all at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU, our full MCU library with our preferred watch order, also with a preview of what's to come for the rest of the year and into 2022. We can't wait. There's plenty to talk about. We are in the golden age of superhero content. If you have not realized it, we're living in it right now, and we're going to talk about it each and every week.